Everyone has got an opinion about the center stand on KTM Adventure. It will reduce your ground clearance, you will scrape it off roads. Not worth the effort, it vibrates a lot during bad patches. Well, I didn't believe in these keyboard theories. So I went out, installed one, rode it for about 400 kilometers on that same day, across highways, village roads, across speed breakers, and wet and dry patches. And this video, it's my honest verdict about living with a center stand on KTM Adventure. And if you're also planning to buy one or confused and about its pros and cons, you will have all your answers in this video. Watch it till the end. Let's begin.
After waiting for 2 weeks, finally my package had arrived at the KTM service center, and you can see it was well packed and the technician is unboxing it. And the first step will be it has to be properly aligned on both sides. There are likely to be 4 bolts, 2 on each side, and they have to be properly aligned. Otherwise, one side may rub against the silencer or on the swing arm. So the tightening has to be done in a proper way. So very first step is loosening the tension spring. As you can see, we have a twin spring design here, so even if one spring fails, so it has dual factor of safety. Loosening this spring will make it easier to install. After those 4 bolts are installed onto the frame, we will fasten it later on. So for the ease of installation, is taking off the spring. These springs actually give it the tension which keeps it in place. So while your bike move across a pothole or a speed breaker, these 2 springs are actually holding it upwards, preventing it from banging on chassis or something. And next, the technicians install the fasteners on both sides and properly aligned, so that not tightening one side but they are equally fastening them in a balanced way so that it remains aligned. After the hinge points were tightened properly, next the spring is being installed. You can see. So this bolt needs to be tightened properly, otherwise the stand will create noise and it will keep on banging against the silencer. There is a rubber stopper as well on the right side, you can see, and that was also adjusted in a proper way. And the work was done neatly. I was good to go. Now it's time for the test. Let's do it. Not always the speed breakers, there are often uneven road patches as well, where some repair work is done or some slight variation in the tarmac. So that isn't creating any difference, and the small speed breakers also doesn't make any big deal out of it. moving over bigger speed breaker, it doesn't scrape off. You can see in the last time it's slightly bigger, but still it didn't cause any scratch. This center stand cost me about 2,750 after the GST changes. Earlier it was about 3,000 rupees. Now the cost has come down, and there is a waiting period. You have to place the order in your nearest service center, and when the stock comes, they will update you, and you just have to go to get it installed there.
So you can see in this video, these roads aren't totally smooth. There are slight variations and ups and downs, but still we can't hear any banging noise or vibration from the center stand. So I would say the build quality is really good. Especially for the city ride, it has no issues at all. I'm stopping this voiceover here so that you can pay close attention to the noise levels and the vibrations of the center stand. In case if you hear anything, please let me know in the comments. Now it's a time for some high-speed highway cruising. Here I'm maintaining the engine RPMs above 7,000 to above 6,000 to 7,000 RPM, and hence then speeds above 100 kmph. So you can hear there are no vibrations or banging noise from the center stand in these videos as well. But there is a lot of wind buffeting. Still, you can't hear any metallic noise. Next, I went to some poorly maintained and under construction roads. As you can see, there is lot of gravel and uneven surfaces, but still there are no noise from the main stand. However, my mic had turned off by this time, so I couldn't record the audio. Now let's do some slow speed cruising under 100 km, and let me take you through some scenic roads. As you can see, the engine RPMs are low and still there are no vibrations or noise from the center stand. After riding for 150 kilometers, I took a break and had my breakfast. Some real good South Indian food. The food was really good, and while I was enjoying my breakfast, the restaurant staff they were admiring my bike and said so many compliments. And it was such a pleasure meeting these kind of people while traveling. After city and highway rides, next it was time to try out some village roads. It's a sort of a mild off-road, a very mild I'd say, but let's say it's a village road. These are the vibrations and noise levels you can hear while riding across such village roads. Now if you pay close attention, you can hear some mild banging noise while it moves into a pit or potholes. Although it's not disturbing, it's rarely noticeable, but to some people that may be a concern. But for me, it's not at all an issue. It doesn't feel like a disturbance at all. Now, these are some high altitude village roads. Yeah, there are a lot of curves and twists, but still, I don't find any vibration noise yet. But occasionally, you hear some weird vibration, but I don't think that's coming from the center stand. Now let's do some mild off-roading. In these clips, you can hear the main stand banging, but still, I don't think it's sort of a disturbing kind of a noise. Anyway, your suspension and rest of your body parts are moving and creating noise, so this little tiny little bit of a noise wouldn't be an issue. For me, it's no big deal. What do you think? Let's test how it performs while moving through mud and a lot of dirt. It's a sunny day and I needed a 2 minute hydration break in between. Now let's try out more difficult level off-roading with the center stand installed. First person view, the inclination isn't properly visible, but it is way more difficult than it appears here. It is actually a lot more inclined and the size of these rocks are really big. So far the center stand isn't causing any ground clearance issues and neither it is scraping off under with along with these rocks in between, and I didn't find any scratches, so I think it shouldn't affect off-roading. Solo off-roading is the real adventure when there is no one to help you out and you can get stuck, your tire may puncture and n number of possibilities and still you make it out. And I think what's more adventurous than this? I'm trying not to burn my clutch plate. That's why it's shutting off in between. Otherwise, if you hold the clutch more and give more throttle, you can move out way easily, but it will wear out the clutch. Initially, it would be difficult to use the center stand, but with time, you will get to know the trick. There is a knack of using it, so after that, it gets easier. In terms of functionality, I would say the center stand is way more practical and sturdy than the paddock stand. Initially, I used to have a paddock stand which I ordered from Amazon, and that used to feel so flimsy and fragile, and that was kind of really unsafe. While keeping bike on that, it used to feel like it's gonna fall off. You can see in this video how flimsy it is. Main stand comes really handy, especially when you're washing your bike, and the wheels you can spin and wash each and every corner, the dirt, all the mud over there. This one is way more practical than the paddock stand I used to have earlier. If your bike has a traction control, it's always better to switch it off while keeping the wheel spinning when it's on the main stand, because that may cause some error between the ABS sensor traction control unit. So also, while using the chain, make sure you lube the O-rings properly. And my cleaning was done, and it was such a great ride. And I hope you find this video really helpful, and you just don't have to worry about if the center stand is good enough or not. It definitely is, and solves a lot of problems while riding, and especially on long rides you can loop your chain in between without having to carry the paddock stand with you. So definitely go for it. It's really good accessory for your bike.